So from time to time, I get asked in the comments whether or not I'm on the waiting list for a liver transplant, and it's kind of a complicated answer. I mean, it's a simple no, but the explanation behind it is kind of complicated. So I thought I'd just go ahead and make a video about it finally. First of all, I my MELD score currently is at 11. Like I'm not anywhere sick enough to really worry about having to have a liver transplant. I imagine, that it's a progressive disease, so I imagine I'll slowly get sicker and sicker, and then eventually I'm going to need a liver transplant. But I think I'm pretty far away from that at this point. I know things can happen overnight. You never really know what's going to happen, and I should give it a lot more thought than I have. But from where I stand, the way I currently view it is I'm not that sick just yet, and I've got quite a bit of time to worry about it. Haven't put too much focus on it yet. Maybe my opinion on it will change down the line as I get sicker. Maybe I'll be like, no, I want to live, But for now, one is not something I'm too concerned about, and I don't think I really want one. I think that when my time comes, and it's my time to go. It's kind of how I just feel about it right now. So, but let's say that, this disease progresses the way I imagine it will, and slowly over the years I'll get sicker and sicker and have to get put on a waiting list for a transplant if I do decide to get one. By the time I'm that sick, I imagine, I'll be at least 50 years old. I'm 40 now. I imagine it progressing slowly over 10 years or so, let's say. So let's say I'm 50 years old by the time I need a liver transplant. So I'm 50 years old, get put on the transplant list, and let's say I get a transplant however long it takes. Now, I have a new liver, so nice and healthy from what I understand. That people feel like they're a brand new person when they have a liver transplant, like they're good. So that means, I've been in bed for like at least 10 years, been sick and bedridden for 10 years, only to, be good again and start all over at 50. 50 is not old. I'm not old now, and I'm not old at 50. I don't think 50 is old at all. I do like to complain and say that I'm old all the time, but realistically, 50 isn't old. I'm okay with being 50. I'm okay with being 60. So say I'll be in my early 50s, hitting the job market, not having worked for 10, 15 years or so, having little to no job skills, and non-skilled jobs. Who knows what the economy is going to be like, because non-skilled jobs are getting taken over by technology faster than most people realize. A lot of the jobs that we have today aren't going to be there, and you're just going to be the competition for those kind of jobs. Anything that's left is going to be really high, which means the wages are going to be low. So I think it's pretty safe to assume that I'd be working two minimum wage jobs at least, struggling to get by, if I could even get by off of that at all. I've worked two or three minimum wage jobs, 60 hours a week, plenty of times before, and that's no life, just working yourself to death. I just don't want to live that way. I that's not a future to look forward to. And that's basically running on the assumption that there's actually going to be Social Security to retire into 20 years from now, 30 years from now, or whatever. The way things are going, we really don't know. They're trying to get rid of it all the time, and they're making cuts to it all the time. Will it be there when I go to retire? I don't know. And I don't even know if I would live that long anyways. Aside from having a fucked up liver, my dad died at like 57. His dad died at like 62, I believe. Like, from what I understand, the men in my family, at least on my father's side, don't live that long. And I'm surprised I lived to see 25. That's the God's honest truth. The way I live my life, I should not have lived to see 25. I should have been dead so long ago. And so many people that knew me back then could probably attest to that. They would probably agree with me wholeheartedly. We partied hard, especially when I was young. We partied way too fast, way too hard. We were fucking crazy. we were madmen. It's insane. I don't even remember most of it, but I know it was crazy. What I do remember is that I lost a lot more than my fair share of friends to drugs and alcohol. And for good reason, because that's just when you live that life, that's what happened. People start dying off. We don't all make it to the end. We don't all make it to middle age, sadly. So the fact that I'm still kicking at 40 is a blessing in and of itself. So that's why I'm really not that focused on the whole liver transplant issue, whether or not I really want to have one. I'm just more concerned about enjoying the time that I have, trying to manage my health so I can, be somewhat okay and enjoy myself. Be thankful for what I have right now. I'm blessed. Be thankful. I've had a crazy life. I've had a good life. I've been to a million rock concerts. I've been with girls way out of my league. Uh, That might be too much information, but I mean, life's been really, really good to me, and really shitty at times. But that's what life is. So right now, I just want to enjoy my life as it is. Come a few years from now, if this disease progresses and gets a lot worse, maybe my mind will change. Maybe a few years from now, my mind will change, and I'll start taking steps on getting on the transplant list. And I'll be a few years older. Time will have gone by. I'll have a different perspective on it. But that's basically my perspective now. I have always lived on my own terms. I've always been my own person. Tried to be true to my who try try to be true to myself, and I think I've done that pretty successfully. I want to continue to do that. I want to live my own life. Nobody's ever been able to tell me what to do, or not very easily at least. And yeah, life's been good, and I like who I am, and I'm going to enjoy it. And maybe you see it differently. Maybe you see your own situation differently. I totally understand why people would want to get a liver transplant, and that's the right situation for you. That's just not the right situation for me. That's kind of where I stand on it. Thanks for sticking with me and hearing it out. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit that like button, and I hope to hear from you guys in the comments. And I'll see you in the next video.